thank you for listening and welcome to the Life Radio Show, a once proud member of the now defunct Eventide Entertainment Podcast Network. I'm your host, Don Smith. Our good friend Brandon Berry is in as guest co-host. First-time guest and up-and-coming comic Kyle Kemper is in with us to talk comedy and what the hell ever. If you enjoy the show, like and follow the Life 1069 on Facebook and Don Smith Comedy on Twitter, or tune in live on Tuesdays from 7 to 9 p.m. on WWSU 106.9 FM, or you can stream the show live at WWSU1069.org.
The brutal presence overwhelms me. The brutal presence overwhelms me.
All right, let's check your sound.
Okay, testing my sound because I have a feminine voice. And
You do. You're
I,
very girly.
Yeah, I know. Still waiting for puberty.
Yeah, keep talking.
Thinking mid-30s will be the time to really get it, but hopefully.
That's when you're going to reach your peak.
Yeah.
You're going to peak in your mid-30s. That's fine.
I peaked in high school, and now hopefully I'll peak again in mid-30s, but yeah. But high school.
I've heard you peak a lot. You just
yeah. Sometimes I'll be
peeping Kyle.
Yeah. That too. Yeah, that'll get you kicked out of parks.
All right, go ahead. Well,
well, didn't I already do this?
perfect. All right,
Okay.
that's all I needed.
Fine.
I'm going to save that. I'm going to because I was recording that and I kind of like that. Oh, didn't I already do this?
That's the shonen essence.
Yeah,
right?
exactly. I think that might be the show title. That might be the episode title. Oh, didn't I already do this? I'm going to write that down.
That applies
just
for
in
the
case.
person listening too.
That means you would have named both of these episodes.
That's right.
Brandon, because the last one is this whole peanut talk.
That's a great title, by the way.
I think everyone I've been on so far I've named.
Yeah, that's a good record. That's a good record to have. Let's see. Let me write it down. Oh, didn't I already do this? All right. I'm going to keep some of this in. That's for
My
sure.
favorite one was Too Ugly for Tinder, though.
That was, and still true.
It won't let me back on.
Yeah. Hey, welcome back to the Life Radio Show. We'll just dive right in. I'm your host, Don Smith, sitting in with my guest co-host of the week, Brandon Berry.
Here I am.
The paint splat himself. Here
Again.
he still is. Didn't I already do this? And our next guest is in, the young man himself, Kyle Kemper.
Well, thanks for having me. Yeah, I
the
appreciate
young
it.
man himself.
Literally the young
The
man.
only one.
You're right,
The only
there's one of us.
that we'll let in here.
If there's anyone else, I have to fight them with a penknife, and that's just
Exactly,
a whole thing.
yeah.
Well, how old are you?
I'm 19. I started doing
my-
stand-up when I was 15. And
Oh, wow.
yeah.
Did you start here at Wiley?
I started at my high school talent show, if that counts, but this was my first time
It
doing the
doesn't.
first. Okay, cool.
Just letting you know. That's
What's
like
that?
I don't count my first one because it was for Wright State, so I don't.
Okay.
count it. Which is a lot like a high school talent show.
Okay, yeah.
Only
I would,
it cost us a lot more to.
I would love to perform at Wright State. So,
Well, it wasn't at Wright State; it was at the Funny Bone, which also doesn't count.
okay. Shots fired. All right. Shut it down.
By the way, we're recording in the Wiley's Comedy Club showroom today, just so I can throw that out there too.
We're recording the parking lot of the Funny Bones. So
Right.
I guess.
We should do an episode there. We just infiltrate. I wonder if they'd notice if we set up on their patio.
That's a nice.
We'll record a patio episode at the Dayton Funny Bone to promote Wiley's.
You get a ladder. You have to climb up from the outside.
Yeah, while they're closed. We wouldn't do it while they're open. We will actually scale the wall with all the podcasting equipment.
I say do it when they're open. Do it when it's packed and there's people on the patio and we're climbing up over it and they're like, "Who are these people?"
We should bring everything in and just set up over by the side of the stage, and while the show is going on, we will be recording an episode of the podcast and critiquing the comic on. Sorry, it's Dayton Funny Bone, not comic, but celebrity on stage.
I don't want my name
just
used.
keep going. We
And
just
this-
keep going. They're not going to. They're not going to book you anyway. You're fine.
Alrighty.
I'm just saying. Wiley's won't even book you.
That's true. That's but a high school talent show will
High
barely
school
book
talent
me.
show, yeah, you can't get into those anymore because you graduated.
Yeah,
I'm
that's-
assuming.
Yeah, I
Maybe
did.
Okay,
A couple
okay.
hours ago, I
A
graduated.
couple hours
Yeah.
ago. Congratulations.
Thank
on
you
your
so much.
GED. And your hair. Congratulations on it. You see, we have to talk about it Since you made sure to spend like an hour on it sitting in your car combing your hair to get that little wave going.
Yeah,
before you came in to do an audio-only podcast.
I'm not bright. That's
we know.
Yeah,
We've
okay.
established. That's been long established.
It'll come across in the show.
Oh, yeah. Listeners will figure it out if they haven't already. Usually just being on my show they can figure out.
Right.
Yeah, it's like, hey, he's not very bright.
No, I got a question for you, Don. I'm the question guy. You know that.
That's okay.
No, before you had affiliation with Wiley's, being the owner and whatnot, did you still have disdain for the Funny Bone?
Only because they don't like booking local comics.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, you have, because we have a nice pool of talent in the Dayton comedy community, and they very rarely will use a Dayton comic. Every now and then they have a couple.
Keith Urban, right?
Now and then, yeah. I don't think they use him to book to host actual shows, but if they he'll go in for like a special show. They have a certain ones that they'll use.
Yeah.
And that's it. They don't like to give chances to a lot of local comics, and that's kind of crappy.
Yeah.
But no, not really. That's
okay.
I loved performing there back when they did their mics and they had local comics in there.
Yeah, so why don't they do them here? I know the
No
Cincinnati
idea.
one does. I'm
Well,
pretty sure.
because they don't get enough reservations.
Okay.
Even though every open mic I ever did there was packed.
Yeah.
But it's an open mic. You're not going to get a bunch of reservations because a lot of it is people last minute find out about it and just go in to watch some locals. Because here we've struggled with that where we'll have 8 or 10 reservations. Next thing you know, we have 75 people in this room, and we don't have the staff for it. But their thought was if they didn't have reservations, not enough people were coming in. It's not worth our time, even though most of the people they had were walk-ups. Mm. But they just stopped doing them, and that I hated that because it was such a great place to perform. I performed there a number of times back when they did their mics, and I loved performing at the Funny Bone. I love Wiley's. I love performing at Wiley's, but when Funny Bone, it's a different environment. It's much more corporate, which I don't really care for that. But
yeah.
I will say, are you talking about like the book shows that they used to do, like kind of like a Sunday Comics, but it was at like the Funny Bone?
Yeah.
I did. This is I did one over the summer, and I recently found out that was their last one ever. Like they're not doing it anymore. So I don't know what that says about me that I was on
Way
their
to go,
show,
Kyle.
and they're like,
I was wondering who destroyed it. I was wondering. It takes one to ruin it for everybody.
It's true.
Kind of like how Brighton Jones caused me to lose my radio show.
There it is.
All it takes is one, just one little schmuck to screw it up for everybody else. Thanks, Kyle.
Well,
And Brighton.
let's be clear.
I'm just kidding.
But
I'm just kidding about you, Kyle. Brighton Jones. No, I'm not kidding.
Okay, good. As long as we know the difference.
Yeah, as long as everybody knows, that's Anyway, you were saying?
I did the show, and it was I was interested because they told me that they're not doing them anymore because they wouldn't get enough reservations. It was pretty full when I was there, and I didn't.
But that's the nature of those open mics, the nature of bringer shows, because a lot of they don't make reservations.
Right.
We've struggled with that. And it's hard to staff accordingly when you think you have 8 to 10 people coming in, and next thing you know you have 75 to 90 people in the room.
Right.
You have one waitress on, and that's it, and they're going to be slammed.
Right.
So yeah, that I get that, but at the same time, you're cutting out a whole lot of talent that could otherwise really help your club out.
Right.
Which I'm not telling them how to do things because I kind of like the fact that we support the locals.
I agree, and I think there's a lot of cool shows that people put on here. Like I think it's cool. Like Travis Charles does the most offensive show.
Oh yeah,
on Earth,
that's a fantastically successful show every time we have it. Yeah,
and I love the Sunday Comics show, which is where I first started doing stand up. I guess we're not counting talent shows, but
we're not.
I got to tell my agent, but yeah, I beginning of 2016 would be the first time I did that here. It was just I had no idea what I was doing. But I've done a ton of those shows since, and I love it because it's so like you don't know what the show is going to be, you don't know who's going to be on it, and sometimes like it's a huge crowd, And then other times, it might not be, but you still have fun. It just feels so. That's why I love the show, because it feels so intimate. It's like our own kind of inside joke with the crowd, because it's like we have this moment here, like this is our show, and like it's not like being recorded. It's not going to be like a Netflix special.
That's the thing about live performance that it's lost when you have everybody. Well, I'll just go watch something on Netflix instead. They lose that, and that's. Because that's live performance. It's not just a performer. It's an energy exchange between a performer and an audience. Because a performer will perform better if they're getting better energy. An audience will, give better energy if they're getting that energy from the performer. And it's a back and forth. And a live show, a live performance. Well, you know this as a musician as well.
Yeah,
there is energy that's going back and forth, and I know that sounds kind of new wave and kind of
you're totally right,
all foofy, but it's the truth. It's because I started out in theater before I started performing stand up, and in theater's the same way. It's an energy that's going back and forth between the audience and the live performer. You don't get that when you're watching something on video. You don't get that from a Netflix special. You'll laugh at the jokes, but you're not there in the moment as part of that group. And that's like I said, Sunday Comics, that is such a great crowd to perform for. Even if it's a light crowd, it's still a great crowd to perform for. They're there to laugh. They know what's going on. They're part of it. Last night, Brian Swinehart headlining this weekend. Did you get that car going by? Fix your muffler. No, Brian Swinehart performed he's here this weekend. Last night at the show, at the end of the show, he went around table to table, getting applause for every group that was sitting in, every person in the room. And that to me was so cool, because that makes these people feel like they're really part of this thing. And that's what live performance is about. Yeah. And that was a valuable lesson I took from Brian Swinehart last night, is get them involved, make them feel like they're special for coming out to see you, and they're going to come back. Yeah, and it was a really great show last night with him, and it was just fun watching him go around, give it up for and he'd get each and every person's name, say give it up for, and just spent the last 5 minutes of his set doing that, and those people loved it. That was a great experience all around. But that's the beauty of live performance that people don't seem to understand as well anymore.
I absolutely agree. And do you think all the the Netflix specials and Everybody and Their Mother has a special, do you think that's hurts live comedy in a way? Okay.
Yeah, it does. It absolutely does. And I've heard comments. I had somebody who was performing, Todd McComas, which Todd's a fairly popular comedian. He's got the Barstool Heartland podcast, all that stuff going on. He's fairly popular when he comes here, so we charge a little more for his show. And there was a group of early 20s, late teens, maybe 19, 20-some years old.
Probably my friends.
No. Yeah, your friends, Kyle. I'm holding you responsible for this. But no, they came in, and I told them what we charged at the door, which I think was $25 at the door for Todd McComas. And people pay it because it's Todd McComas. They're there to see him. And there were 4 of them, and they mumbled to themselves as they're walking out, well, we'll just go watch his special on Netflix. It's like, okay, go do that, because you don't understand what live performance is anyway.
Right. I mean, it's just someone will yell. So not that heckling's a good. It's not necessarily heckling, but say you're doing crowd work and someone will say something so insane that will just only happen in this night, and it's happened to me on stage, and you're just you couldn't write this, and this person said it, and it's amazing, and there's nothing like it.
Yeah, I don't do a lot of crowd work, but every now and then you have to react to something that happens.
Right.
Then you have to point something out every now and then, and it's those live moments. That's that in the moment feeling that you get up there that you don't capture it recorded. You can't capture it. You can capture the moment, not the feeling. And that's, I guess, what I'm trying to say. But no, live performance is a very special thing. And
it is kind of a shame how we're paying less and less attention and money towards having experiences rather than just watching something.
Right. Yeah, you're watching something happen to somebody else.
Yeah.
But you're not there for the actual experience of it.
Right.
It's kind of like that. I've never gone out to watch a lot of live music. Now, lately, I have been getting out to see a lot of local bands, which is something I didn't really do before. And again, it's the same way. It's a whole different thing than listening to something on a CD, or do those exist anymore? I don't even know.
I don't know.
I'm behind the times.
I was born with an iPod in my hand. That's
I
just
figured.
okay.
Yeah, it's You're born with those the wireless earbuds
The
sticking out.
AirPods, yeah.
Yeah.
You're like, here's your baby, and it comes with complimentary AirPods, and you go, oh, that's handy.
It's well, they needed a consolation prize,
Right, they're
when
like-
they had you, it's like here,
He's going to be a comedian, so
Yeah, just take this. It'll be disappointment. You might as well enjoy the free iPod.
I will say with the Netflix thing, in a way, it's definitely less than how people like won't go to comedy clubs because it's on Netflix, but it'll swing the other way where people are kind of introduced to stand up through Netflix because there's so much and everyone's watching so much stand up that they go, oh, this is good. And I've had some of my friends like, I just got into stand up on Netflix, and then they start coming to live shows, which is also pretty, like I said, it's not as much as the other way, but that's also really good to see because like people who like know of stand up but you never watched it, and now it's hard to avoid it. It's hard to meet someone who's like, oh, I don't watch stand up,
Yeah, and if you do, usually they're very boring people.
Yeah.
It's like, just don't even talk. You know what? No, you're probably just going to suck the life out of any conversation we're having.
You're like, I watch a lot of abortion documentaries, and I go, boy, oh boy.
Yeah, throwing in an abortion joke. It didn't work the same. It didn't work.
It didn't. All right.
It's okay. You got to try it.
I just go out the same way I came in.
Yeah, exactly. No, go out the side. We don't want people seeing you leave out the front.
Right, change outfits.
Kyle Kemper, everybody, give him a hand. No, give him a hand. Help him up. Get him up. Now, how long? You said you've been performing since you were 15?
Yeah, I think.
I guess as far as your first performance, we'll count the talent show.
Yeah,
Just not.
I guess my first time at Wiley's was probably 2 or 3 months after, because it was the end of 2015 when I did that talent show, and Wiley's was probably the beginning of 2016. But yeah, and then like the past few years, that's why I've started doing it like consistently, going to open mics and stuff like that. But yeah, I started when I was 15. I actually missed the deadline to sign up for my talent show, and then something in me was like, you got to do this, like just try it. And because there's no better time to try something for the first time than in front of hundreds of your peers who will bully you.
Yeah.
And
oh yeah, absolutely.
So, and I think about this a lot, and I went to the teacher who ran the talent show. I was like, is there any way I can still get in? And she goes, yeah. And I think about this a lot. I was like, if that would have gone poorly that first time in the talent show, because I ended up winning the talent show, ladies. And
yep, I won a high school talent show. Hit me up.
That's the first thing on my Tinder bio. That's but if that went poorly that first time, I don't think I ever would have done it again. I don't know if my passion for stand up was enough at the beginning. I don't know. It's hard to say, but like if I would have bombed, I probably would have been like, all right, off to accounting or like something like that for the rest of my life.
Well, I've always heard the worst thing that can happen your first time is for you to do well. That's
oh boy, that's the thing. That's also another thing I want to talk about is like this kind of sounds like not to come off as like I'm bragging, but like I did well at that talent show. It's nothing like my stand up now. Like I couldn't if there was a video of it, I couldn't watch it.
Well, yeah, that's normal. If you aren't progressing and you can't look at stuff you did 2 years ago and say that was horrible, you're not growing as an artist or comic or musician. Or I'm sure you feel the same way. You look back on some of your early stuff that you did. Yeah, exactly. Because I look at some of the early jokes I did.
The first song I ever wrote was called Shark Attack, and it started out with the Jaws, little vamp. Yeah. Oh my god.
That actually sounds great. Is that available on iTunes anywhere? Or I would.
No, it is not.
Now, I will say one of the first jokes I wrote I still will use, but that's the
right.
I'm not going to use it on here, but I will. I have brought it back out a time or two just for fun. And it still does okay.
Right. I'd save it for your Netflix special. I wouldn't say.
Oh, yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Well, I was talking, one of the Sunday comics about a year or so ago, I was talking to Jesse Nutt, and that's one of the things he thought would be fun is to go up and redo the first set you ever did. And, of course, Jesse's been doing it for 20 years.
Yeah.
And he did. He went up that night and did the first set he ever did, still did well.
Wow.
So I went ahead and did it, too. Not the first set. I did like several of the first jokes I ever did on stage, and they still did okay, which surprised me a little bit.
Yeah,
but I think that's fun. You should do that with your talent show set.
I was doing one-liners. I was literally like writing. What's a joke I had it was just really bad. I was like,
a lot like what you're still.
What I'm still doing.
Just really bad. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know how many people canceled that I got booked on this, but. But I think one of my jokes, and like I'm uncomfortable saying this because it's not a good joke, but I said I think Batman's making the rest of us look bad. He's a billionaire playboy by day, crime-fighting vigilante by night. I was like, I'm broken single by day and asleep by 7:30. And that was the joke. And like I look back on that now, I go, that's just not who I was at the time. That's not my voice and whatever. Yeah.
That should be nobody's voice. And you won the talent show?
Yeah. I was
That-
up against
my-
a dead raccoon.
My heart
and
goes out to the rest of the people in that talent show because
they were all so
did
talented.
they like have webbed feet or something? Was that one of their talents was just swimming and he tried to do it on stage without being in the water or something? And that's
I felt so bad because
one by default.
they were all so talented, and like obviously I'm grateful that I won, but like because like it really like kind of like pushed me into doing stand up, but like everyone else was so good, and I was like I felt bad for.
Now,
like,
did
winning.
any of the judges you slept with to win that get in trouble for that, or
It was
'cause
by
you were
audience vote,
underage,
so I had to sleep with a couple hundred people. But
Oh, okay. Well, as long as it's audience vote, you know that
Yeah.
nobody has to get busted for that because you were all underage. So it's
oh my god, my abortion joke not looking too bad now, is it?
oh god. Okay.
The FBI is like knocking on our door.
yeah,
like,
yeah, we're in trouble.
you guys got to get out of there.
Kyle did it.
Oh.
We'll blame it on Brighton Jones.
Alrighty.
Yeah, everybody will buy that. He's an idiot. I think that's going to be the new theme of my show is just bashing him.
noticed.
I know, like the next several episodes, I'm going to bring him up, just because I want to make sure he hears at least one or two of them.
I don't even know this guy.
Yeah, me
You
neither.
don't
I
wanna-
already
you
hate
don't
him.
wanna- yeah. Oh, yeah. Good. That's what I want. Is I want a lot of hatred toward him by people he's never met, so
Yep.
that when they met him, they'll just punch him. Oh, you! Whack! And that's my deepest wish right now. Is just random strangers will go up and punch him in the face
Oh boy,
just after they hear his name.
we are inciting a riot right now.
Well, trust me. Once they get to know him, they'll want to anyway. Oh man, just throwing shade everywhere. I said I wasn't going to do that, Brandon, and I lied.
You
I lied.
do it all day long, man.
Okay,
It's
that's
okay.
fine. That's
It's
fine.
fine.
So, anyway, back to what we were talking about. One of the worst things I've ever heard is for it to go well the first time because the comedy.
Yeah.
We'll go back to that. Not punching somebody in the face, but the comedy.
Yeah.
Because the first two sets I had, if we're going to count your talent show, I guess we'll count my 4-minute set for Right State that I did at the Funny Bone.
Okay.
And it went well, and then my next set I was at Wiley's about a month after that one, and it went really well. In fact, it went well enough that I had, and I realized they just wanted the entry fee, but the people that ran the open mic at the time, I think it was Joanne Viscup and Mike Canistero that were running Wiley's Sunday Comics at the time.
Okay.
Talked me into signing up for the fireworks competition.
Wow.
So, yeah, that was after my second set. I signed up for that. My third set, I was on a roll. I went to the Chapter Bar in Fairborn and died horrendously.
Oh my goodness.
If I hadn't had other shows booked, I probably would have quit.
Right.
So my fourth set, I'm going into the fireworks competition for my fourth set after dying terribly my third set. So I had no confidence going in at all. And my fifth set was in the finals, so take that.
Wow. That's the thing is like I started off good and I think I did well, not because I was like writing great material as a 15 and 16-year-old, but I think part of it was like, oh, like this is like a kid who's young and it's cute that he's doing stand-up and it's really cool that for his age. And then I got to the point, this was kind of like recently, where I was starting to get out of the age where it wasn't really cute anymore. And they're like, all right, start writing good
now
jokes.
I have to be funny.
Yeah.
Because nobody else is going to care.
I was in a dip for so long and I was like, what is going on? And it wasn't until like a year ago that I started really like getting back into it again. And I don't think I ever really did horrendous, but I like am really hard on myself. But I definitely had my fair share of bombs, like,
Oh, yeah.
for sure.
But you'll go into slumps that'll last months.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you'll just feel like, why am I still doing this?
Right.
I got a question for both of you.
Yeah.
Now, when because you guys go to a lot of open mics that aren't at comedy clubs.
Yeah.
Probably him more so than me now.
Yeah.
I
All
don't
right.
get a lot of time to get out to him, but
So-
still
so-
do every now and then.
So do you take, a bomb at a non-comedy club to heart as much
Not really. I don't.
I
mean, there's still any bomb. Anytime you die on stage, it's gonna bug you. It's gonna eat at you a little bit. But I figure those shows, those open mics. I mean, even open mics at a comedy club. That's where you're going to test out new material.
Right.
Right.
And if you have a new joke that doesn't fly at a open mic at one of these bar shows, don't scrap that joke.
Right.
Try it again.
Yeah.
You know, give it a couple of tries. If it consistently gets nothing, probably rewrite it or scrap it.
Right.
But don't take one show, one open mic at some small bar where most of the people in there watching you are comedians anyway. Don't take that one bomb as something personal.
Right. No, because I
That's easier said than done, of course, because it's still. I mean, you feel it.
Yeah.
There's a reason they call it dying. That's about what it feels like. It is a miserable time, and the longer set you're dying on, the worse it is. I died for 20 minutes solid on stage once, and that was rough. That was rough.
Yeah.
well, because I do a lot of open mics, as you know, play music and whatnot, and there, for some reason, I've never felt at all like that. Like I don't know if around here, maybe it's because everyone's too nice about it, but there's no one ever boos, you know,
right?
And that's not the point. I'm just saying that I've never felt a bomb, playing like half an hour at a music open mic.
Yeah, I don't.
And
know
I don't know what the definition of that would be,
Right.
because maybe no claps, whatever. But that just means, I mean, you're just testing out stuff anyway.
Right.
And like, it's really for a musician. It's not so much the reaction of the audience. To me, it's more of, did I feel like I did that? Like,
right.
Should I even play this again? Kind of thing. I don't know. There is quite a bit of difference between the two.
Oh yeah,
open mics.
Definitely are. Now mixed open mics, I haven't
Those
done a
are
lot
weird.
of those. Yeah, because those are a little weird. I would
South
think.
Park Tavern does that. Sometimes I see like Mike Wells do his thing, and it's always strange because like I don't ever expect comedy at South Park.
Right.
It happens, and it's cool when it happens because I enjoy it. But like it's not a place I would expect to hear it, and I get it. It's the grind, man.
Yeah, as a musician, I mean, is there a bomb for a musician? I mean,
I don't know.
I get if you're getting booed off the stage, but I don't
think that happens very often.
Yeah, you would have to. I mean, just be really terrible.
I've seen
for
some
that to
terrible
happen.
people around here, and they still get claps.
Yeah, I've talked about it on the show before. When I first started going out and seeing some live music in the area, I saw this heavy metal band. I'm not going to name them because they were that bad, and it was, to me, it was hilarious because I sat there for the whole show just because it was fascinating. I mean, it was fascinatingly horrible. And they had a mosh pit which was like four people just kind of slowly rocking back and forth to this hard metal, and I'm trying not to laugh because I know these kids are up there playing their hearts out, but at the same time it's like, what do I do? How do I not giggle at this because it's so
where was it at least? Tell me that.
That train went by. You can't hear when I said it. Jimmy's Ladder 11.
Okay. Wow. I would never
place.
expect a metal band to be in that place.
Yeah. It was a late night. It was like 1 a.m. Yeah, because I've seen great bands there since. Last weekend I was out there to see the 5-year reunion of Demolition Crew. Some nice reggae. It's fantastic. Had a lot of fun with them. The week before that I went out there. McGuff and the Dumpster Fires were there. They're a lot of fun. That's a good band. Yeah. And so I'm getting out more. Eventually, I will catch the paint splash. I swear. You and St. Mary, St. Michael. There are two that I have to get out and see live. But it seems like every time you're playing, because I know St. Mary, St. Michael has a show tonight, but I'm hosting here both shows, so I can't get out to that one every time.
Yeah. We're pretty fun because we're pretty loose and we're never tight. Because we never practice, but that's what makes it fun, and we realize it. I don't know, it's fun, You like the Replacements at all?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're kind of like that. We're like we never sound the same ever.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah. Changes
All right.
it up a little bit.
We're going to have to take another imaginary break, and
Right.
we'll play some music. I don't even know who this one's going to be.
Oh,
because
Is it gonna
I'm
be
just
Pace
going to
Plants?
randomly.
It's the heavy metal band you were just mentioning.
Yes. I believe that was it was like Burger Kill and the Voice of God or something like
Oh,
that.
Lord.
Oh yeah, it was fantastic. I loved it. We discussed it on an earlier episode, so I guess I can say who they are because they know who they are, and they're 5 fans that were in the mosh pit, rocking slowly back and forth. Oh yeah, it's hardcore. All right, all right. So for that, I'll probably play some Potter's Field or something just to get that heavy metal vibe going right there. All right, we will be back here shortly on the live. Stick around.
You know, the only ist I am is a scientist.
Got an 8-stage rocket with a pair of chicken wings. Mr. Bernard Pistol.
Go, John!
That's the sweet stuff, man. Fairyland's got an 8-stage rocket with a pair of chicken wings. Mr. Phil.
All right, welcome back to the Life Radio Show. If you stuck around, how about that song? Was that a good song too? What did I say? I don't even remember. Potter's Field. Yeah, that's probably what I played then. Yeah. In my head. Welcome back to the Life Radio Show. I'm your host, Don Smith, sitting in with my guest co-host for the week, Brandon Barry.
Here I am
Here-
again.
Here I am. Didn't I do this already? No, sorry. Didn't I already do this? I got to get the episode title right. Kyle Kemper is still in. He hasn't. We're going to run screaming out of here yet, so we're good. We're good.
I have chess club to get to after this, but I'm free till then. No.
Well, chess club takes a lot of intelligence. Are you sure that's where you're going?
No, it's not.
Okay,
I just
was gonna say,
say that so ladies are interested in me.
they still are.
Oh yeah, I don't know why that's not
chess
working.
club. That's not really how you get women. Kyle.
I wish I was good at chess. Is that a weird thing to say?
No, it's not.
Yes.
It's a fun game.
It
if
is.
You're good at it.
And I don't know. I feel bad for making a joke about it because I love chess. I'm not great at
Do
it.
you play? Do you play? Yeah.
I don't.
I haven't in a long time. I used to. I used to play
times a
when I
year.
was younger. Because my older brother was fairly good at chess, and he stopped playing once I started beating him. That first time I won, he's like, "I'm done."
Dude,
Like,
that hurts when people beat you. You feel like an idiot.
especially when it's your younger brother.
Right.
That was my oldest brother. He's 7 years older than me, and I think I was like 12, and I started whooping him in chess. He was mad. So I don't get to play much anymore.
Right.
I think the last time I played was with a friend of mine. He thought he was going to mop the floor with me. I think I had him in like 8 moves. Wow. Because it was like 3 moves in. I looked at the board and I said, "Dude, you're done." What are you talking about? I was like, you're done, and there is nothing you can do about it. What are you going to do? And sure enough, 5 moves later, he was toast. I almost slipped that out there. I forgot I was recording. I'm going to have to get that out. Even though I didn't finish it, it's still rough. I can't have that in there.
You
I'll
say the
write
same
that
thing
down.
about sex too. Even though you didn't finish it was still rough.
absolutely,
Yeah.
Sometimes you don't get to. When you get older, you'll understand. When you
Right.
get to have sex with a real
Yeah,
woman.
I'm thinking. I'm shooting for mid-40s.
Instead of
I
those
really
blow-up
am.
dolls.
Yeah.
Yeah, you order those on your parents' credit card still.
For those of you listening, I just did physical comedy for a podcast, so I'm glad that. I was like, the laugh was the facial
Perfect.
expression.
Well, yeah, that's perfect. Kind of like fixing your hair before you came in.
Right.
Are we ready for some news stories?
I am, yeah.
Okay, good. Go get some. No, because the ones I have are terrible.
I look like a newspaper boy from like the 1800s.
I'm sure we're not going to talk about Rush Balloon anymore or Stupendly. There were so many great.
That's the better one. That's the best.
We're gonna get like a John or something lame.
Yeah, something lame like that. Let's see who we have here. We have. Okay, a German multimillionaire has invited 10, quote, nice people to live with him on his 550-acre property, which features horse stables, a winery, and views of the Tasman Sea on a remote part of New Zealand. Carl Riepen, the 70-year-old who made his fortune selling canned iced coffee drinks, has twice posted an ad with his offer in the New Zealand Herald. The ad in which Riepen... could be raping, I don't know. Never reveals his name, recounts how he found a, quote, beautiful farm during his visit to New Zealand in 2000. After purchasing the property, he says, it took me 10 years to bring it to the standard of today. Now where everything is finished, I would like to share this paradise with nice people, up to 10 women and men. They could live in they could live in houses by 2 persons and share a beautiful winery for social meetings and dining, he writes. He wrote that? Well, he didn't make his money writing, did he?
Those people are dead now. I'm letting you know. Like,
exactly. If anybody took him up on that, he's done reaping them. He's
I mean, that's just got murder written all over it. I mean, how much do you like wine that you read that and all your red flags and like alarms are going off? You're like, but that winery though, like
winery, horse stables, and a beautiful paradise. Yeah. Oh yeah, where some things are worth dying for, Kyle.
But who was sold on the horse stables? Who was like, I'm not going horse stables. Oh yeah, I'd like to check those out.
Well, you got to have some wine first because you don't want to go horseback riding sober.
Oh my goodness, not again, not
they
again.
Didn't do that in the Old West. That's why every saloon only sold whiskey. You couldn't get water out there or coffee, except in the mornings where you roasted on a fire. But we're getting a little off topic, I think.
Then you get pulled over by one of those cops on a horse, and he's like, "Have you been drinking tonight?" It's a whole thing. And we'll edit that out.
Yeah, we'll edit. Most of this will be edited out. It's okay.
I'm not in this show.
Oh, let's see. A driver in England accidentally blew up his car when he lit a cigarette after spraying air freshener inside, officials said. The unidentified man sprayed a, quote, excessive amount of aerosol spray in his car, which was parked in Halifax, West Yorkshire, on Saturday when he decided to grab a cigarette.
So is he dead?
I don't know. Witnesses told the Manchester Evening News they heard an enormous bang and saw a car's window shatter and nearby buildings shake. The driver reportedly made it out of the car with minor injuries and was treated by first responders. But West Yorkshire police said in a statement the situation could have been worse.
I just hope he had like a blown up cigar.
Right.
Real cartoony. But like, I don't get his thought process here. He's like, oh, my car smells, let me spray some air freshener and then light a cigarette. One of the worst smelling things.
He went to the strip club and he was trying to get the smell of the stripper off of him. That's all that was. I have been there several times, because that's what you have to do. You have to smoke a bunch of cigarettes.
Yeah.
You have to stop and get gas. So the wife doesn't know.
He doesn't
you
even
have to stop
smoke.
and get gas on the way home, and accidentally spray a little bit on you. Yeah. Do that after the cigarette, not before.
Right.
Otherwise, you'll blow up in your car like this idiot.
Now we know.
Yeah, exactly. Well, now you know how they did away with that. Now you can't. It doesn't even work because you can't disguise glitter. Body glitter is the enemy of the married man of the strip club.
That's true. That's why they do it. That's why
Just
they.
so you know, yes, because that's. I actually had a set about that once. It started off with my beard because there were guys out there that were putting glitter in their beard and doing glamour shots, and that's just not right. It's just not right.
More marriages are ended by glitter than anything else.
That is true. That is true. Glitter is the devil.
Yeah. Oh
Yeah.
wow, that's a big jump from what I said. But
Oh no. I absolutely mean it.
Oh okay.
Yeah. Glitter it's the most evil of all craft supply.
Yeah.
It is the only craft supply that you can send to somebody you don't like to show them that you don't like them.
Yeah. For
Glitter
those
bombs. You can send those to people that you genuinely don't like, and they open them up, they go everywhere, and they automatically know that somebody out there hates them. Yeah. That's the power of glitter right there.
Yeah, for those of you listening, when Don said glitter is the devil, he looked at me right in the eyes and he revealed an upside-down cross tattoo. And it was just a whole thing. I don't know if you guys... the worst thing, he's terrifying me.
Yes. Well, that's because you're wearing glitter.
That's true.
When you fixed your hair, you got some glitter in there, too. I can see it sparkling over here.
I texted you like, hey, you want to do the podcast? I was like, yeah, should I wear glitter? And you're like, what? I was like, oh, never mind.
Absolutely, because we will talk about it. It's evil.
We'll cut the devil joke out, the upside-down cross joke out, too.
Oh, no.
Okay, yep.
I'm just... Nobody else gets to see that tattoo. Okay, a Wisconsin woman who called the police on Saturday didn't have an emergency or really need immediate help. She was angry about her chicken sandwich at KFC. Authorities responded to a KFC restaurant in Waukesha around 8 p.m. on Saturday after an unidentified woman contacted them claiming the fast food eatery's drive-thru employee was, quote, giving her attitude. The ordeal began when the woman ordered a chicken sandwich but received an incorrect order, the local patch reported. Citing police records, KFC staff offered to make her another sandwich, but she apparently refused to eat it. The woman called police while situated in the drive-thru. Once they arrived, she told them she got a new sandwich but did not feel comfortable eating it and wanted her money back.
Those police probably went to that KFC and they're like, lady, we can't go to your KFC. Like, people are literally getting stabbed at Popeyes. We don't have time for this.
Right. The chicken sandwich wars are getting fierce.
Oh, my goodness. And Chick-fil-A is just watching it all burn. I mean, they're just sitting up there in their ivory tower.
Yeah, their ivory tower with their chicken sandwich of the Lord and judging everyone else. That's what Chick-fil-A will do to you. It will make you a very judgmental person.
My dad said last time he went to KFC, there are literally two people like dry humping next to the buffet, and I haven't been there since.
Well, that's how Don and I met, yeah.
Yeah, right, exactly.
You remember the last time at KFC had a buffet?
Yeah.
That was a long time ago.
Yeah. I remember dry humping there. I think that was a requirement. You get half off. You got half off your buffet. If you dry
hump. I felt bad for you.
Yeah. No, it's KFC, so it might have been dry heaving, actually. Cause that's
when he says you get half off, he doesn't mean price. He's like, you get off like halfway. Like,
right,
it's not the full, it's just dry humping.
Because you're not getting all of it. You know?
Right. More of a tease than anything.
Yeah, I've never gotten anybody all the way off.
That's the name of the podcast.
Nope, that I'm editing out. Because it's true.
That one wasn't
Anyway, back to chicken sandwiches.
Okay.
Have you had the Popeyes?
I have not.
Thing?
I think I've eaten Popeyes one time. Wasn't impressed. Haven't tried their chicken sandwich.
Well, I actually went for the first time about a month ago, and I had it
did
twice.
You stab
in
anybody
a day.
for one?
No.
Oh, you got it twice in a day? I haven't had that since my 20s.
Boy.
It was pretty good. It's not bad. It's not worth stabbing anybody over.
Right.
No, I don't think there's a chicken sandwich out there worth stabbing. If you stab somebody over a chicken sandwich, you were already planning on stabbing.
Do you know what a shredded chicken sandwich is?
Like pulled chicken, kind of like. I don't mean pulling your chicken. I mean like pulled pork, only shredded chicken.
See, that's what you think. But like I'm from like up north Ohio, right? And a shredded chicken sandwich is cream of chicken mixed with shredded chicken. Put it on a sandwich.
Doesn't sound terrible.
No, it's pretty great. Sometimes there's mushrooms in it. Sometimes there's little crackers to thicken it up. Yeah. I'll make you one.
There's always little.
I'll change your
always
mind.
crackers every now and then.
Everyone thinks it's like pulled pork.
Crackers make the sandwich. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's pretty good though. Anyway. Yeah.
And that was a shredded chicken sandwich.
That's a shredded chicken
okay.
sandwich
in Northern Ohio.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
I don't know when it transitions to.
Yeah, where's
to
the
not be-
dividing line?
I don't know.
Okay,
I haven't figured that out yet.
Well, probably halfway through.
I think Wapakoneta also does it. So that's,
Yeah, but that doesn't count.
yeah, I mean,
Yeah, that's true.
Well, Wapakoneta, I don't think anybody can count.
I've never been to Northern Ohio. Is that weird? Because I've lived in Ohio my whole life, and I've been to like a lot of places in the country.
is Northern Ohio weird, or is it weird that you haven't been there?
It's weird that I haven't
Both.
been there. They seem like nice people.
I think it's
Yeah,
it's
both.
weird up there. No,
I
I've
heard
never
about
been.
these shredded
You've never
chicken
been to-
sandwiches. Those weirdos.
You've never been to like Lake Erie or
No,
really never
Cleveland,
been to Michigan
nothing.
either?
No,
Well,
yeah.
You're not missing much.
I refuse. I mean, yeah. I
don't blame
no,
you.
I'm
I
kidding.
don't
They
blame
seem
you.
like nice people. I know we have a lot of listeners from Northern Ohio, so I just
Yeah,
wanted
but
to-
we don't.
I,
They don't even know who we are. They've never been to Dayton. Let's see. 'Twas the night of Christmas at a North Carolina house. No creature should have been stirring, not even a mouse, but a Forsyth County couple awoke with a fright as something was moving about their house in the night. Oh, this is stupid. They dashed to their closet and hid in fear, dialing 911 with a sensitive ear. Responding sheriff's deputies searched the home and found a robot vacuum alone. The source of the scare this is too dumb. I can't keep on going.
I was
It
really
was a robot. It was a Roomba that woke him up in the middle of the night, and they called the police.
I'll be honest, I was really hoping that had a dark ending. Like they wrote
It
it all
should
cute.
have, yeah,
Twas the night
yeah.
before Christmas, and my wife got shot.
Yeah.
Like just something dark like that.
Yeah, over a vacuum cleaner because he thought he went around with a gun and she came the other way and he shot her.
Oh, the
And
Roomba had a knife taped to it.
It was all planned ahead of time because he was a murderer.
Oh, yeah, of course.
He,
But then again, you got the Roomba to clean up the crime scene. So
yeah, but that's a Roomba. All it does is kind of smear it around. It just widens the crime scene. I've heard.
Yeah, you've tried everything to clean up
none
blood.
of this is speaking from experience or anything. We'll cross that one off. That was one of the dumbest news stories I've ever read in my life.
yeah. What do you cross those out? What do you do? Like, do you reuse the stories or what?
No.
So why you cross them off? Because you're already done. Okay, it does.
So
it
to
doesn't
remind
matter.
myself
it
that
doesn't
I'm
matter.
done and I don't want to talk about the stupid stuff anymore. That's
okay.
All right.
And no more of this crap.
If he
And-
doesn't cross it out, we'll just go over like that
yeah,
same
it'll be the
story
same
8 times.
story. 'Twas the night of Christmas.
That was another dumb one.
Did your research team not figure out that was a poem?
No, he did. He did. He was just real. I was really drunk when I
Okay.
saw it, and I thought maybe I can get through this, and then I decided halfway through it that I couldn't.
Okay.
And there's just because sometimes you think you can handle a thing, and you just
Yeah.
you just can't. You
All
just
right.
can't.
I understand that.
And I love a good Roomba story as much as the next guy. Don't
That's
get
true.
me wrong.
That's true. I love a good Roomba in the night. That could be an episode.
There you go.
title.
Right. It's my album name, actually.
You'll never get it out.
I know.
For decades, those who have participated in snowball fights in one Wisconsin city have risked getting in trouble with the law, but that may be about to change. A 1962 ban on throwing projectiles in Wausau lumps snowballs in the same category as rocks and other items that can cause serious harm. Serious harm. City Council President Lisa Rasmussen said that recent negative national attention over the rarely used ordinance has raised questions about whether it could be time to take snowballs off the naughty list. Maybe it's worth giving a look to see if that list could be amended to mitigate that odd news story that keeps coming up like a bad penny, Rasmussen said. Wausau police and the mayor even made a video showing officers having a snowball fight and then arrested every damn one of them. No, that would have been fun.
Yeah, they're
That
doing
would
5 to
have added
10,
more
but-
to the story if they did a video of police officers snowball fighting and then arrested them for breaking the law.
Yeah.
Because they're not above the law, and that's law still on the books, so I think it's wrong that they didn't.
Yeah. And there was one guy at that meeting when they legalized snowball fights. He's like, how about manslaughter? And they're like, what? And he goes, all right, just snowball fights. I guess
Okay,
we'll start baby steps, you know.
Yep. Can we throw hand grenades now? It's lumped in because before it was on the ordinance that we couldn't, and I think if we're going to take snowballs off, we need to take hand grenades off the list.
You have to
They
wrap
should
the hand
be-
grenade in snow. And
Right.
then
Well, yeah, obviously. Yeah, because you don't want anybody to know that it's not a regular snowball.
Smart.
coming at
You've
them,
thought
'cause
about
yeah,
this.
Exactly. No, all came to me just now.
I couldn't tell.
Oh, let's see. What do we got here? An alleged bank robber in Colorado apparently wanted to spread some Christmas joy before he was arrested Monday. Witnesses say they saw a man throw money from a bag onto a street in Colorado Springs while yelling "Merry Christmas," KKTV reported. As long as it's not KKK TV, that would be. Yeah. It's Colorado, so it could be. The bizarre incident happened moments after a branch of Academy Bank near the intersection of East Pikes Peak Avenue and South Tejon Street was robbed around 12:30 p.m. Police said in an incident report. They described the robber, later identified as 65-year-old David Wayne Oliver. He must also be a serial killer if they used, or an assassin if they used all three of his names. Described him as an older white male. He's 65 years old. That makes sense. That's not how you find somebody. That's a pretty vague description of how to find a bank. He's just an older white male. Got him! Who threatened to use a weapon and left the bank with, quote, an undisclosed amount of cash. Police found the suspect sitting in front of a coffee shop and arrested him without incident. After giving away his money. To further that story, the people that collected that money actually turned it back into the bank, which makes me think that...
Narcs?
Yeah, those are not the people that are smoking pot in Colorado. Those are not the ones that are getting high, because they would have kept that money and headed right to the dispensary.
They're like, this isn't right. Let's turn this money back in. Like,
yep. Oh, golly.
Oh, goodness me.
What do we do with all this extra income? I don't know. Why don't we ask Rush Balloon that had $37 million added into her bank account that decided that's not enough? We should turn this in. Let's be honest.
Yeah. Well, did you see there's like another thing I saw in like Los Angeles? There was some rapper who was like standing on top of his car and throwing cash in the middle of Skid Row. And it was like a video of it. It was like a bunch of like people like running and grabbing the cash and like fighting for each other. It was terrible. You're like, who's doing this? And everyone like, it was on Twitter and people were like, oh my God, what a good guy. I go, are you kidding me? This guy's insane.
Causing a riot.
Exactly.
Yeah. Somebody got killed.
Oh, absolutely.
Like several somebodies.
No. All right.
Thanks for bringing the show. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, no problem. I was having too much fun, and I was
really?
like...
What were you doing?
This is beforehand. I was,
okay. Before you got in,
watching
you were
one of those abortion documentaries, and I was
hair and sprinkling some glitter.
Yeah,
gotcha.
I'm not invited back.
What's that?
I said I'm not invited back.
Oh yeah, I know.
Yeah, okay, cool. I was barely invited once.
You have no idea how many people I asked before I got to you.
You asked what's his name?
The holidays, so many people were busy.
If I could remember that guy you hated, I was going to say you invited him first. Yeah.
Yeah. No.
Okay. I'll take it.
No, you're a little bit above him.
A little bit.
A little bit. A Croatian university student said swapping stories with friends gave him an idea for the country's newest attraction, the Museum of Hangovers. Nice.
Wait, what? Wait, I don't get that one.
What's that?
The Museum of Hangovers.
The Museum of Hangovers.
Are you the curator?
Yes, yes. No, I told you, when I drink Stoli, I don't get a hangover.
Yeah, that's right.
Reno Dubakovic. Yeah. Reno Dubakovic. A student at Zagreb said he was sharing stories of drunken mishaps with friends when he came up with the idea for a museum chronicling unusual hangover stories and displaying objects related to those experiments. Either way, there's a dildo hanging up there probably. The Museum of the Hangover, which opened its doors this month, features exhibits including a collection of unusual items people found after a night of heavy drinking, a beer goggles reflex testing room, and an interactive area where visitors can share their own hangover experiences.
The museum doesn't open till like 1 p.m.
Well, yeah,
last night was just too much.
They have the lights turned way down. Yeah.
Admissions,
a pair of shades when you walk in.
Admissions, a bottle of Advil. Like it's a whole thing.
Yeah, you have to talk. If you're sharing your story, you have to really be quiet. Just don't talk very loud at all, because everybody's going to be upset with you.
Right.
Yeah, that's the Museum of Hangovers. Fantastic. That's what we need.
Where was that
That's
at?
what we need. That was in. It was Croatian student. Or where was it? Let's see. Croatia.
Well, I'm not going there.
Yeah, Zagreb.
Okay.
Yeah, he's a student at the University of wherever the hell it is.
And his parents were like, you got to focus on school. You're not going to make any money just drinking and being hungover every day. And he's like, you'll see, Mom and Dad. I'll open up a whole museum about it.
Yep. A whole museum dedicated to my hangover experiences from heavy drinking.
We'll make a movie about it.
You got to make your parents proud doing what you do best. So.
Oh, we should do that? Oh, I have not been.
Well, no, I don't mean you. I don't mean you.
Okay, good.
You're a stand-up comic. We will never make parents proud.
Get a pass.
Police in Massachusetts are searching for the owner of several lizards that were found abandoned in cages on the street. Stoughton Police Department posted photos of the reptiles on its Facebook page and asked for the owners to claim them. Here's some quotes. Have you ever walked down the street carrying your lizards in a cage and put them down for a second to maybe update your Facebook page or scratch your nose or something? The post read. The department also tweeted photos of the lizard in a plea for help from the public. If you have ever just continued your brisk walk and gotten to your destination and yelled, "Oh wait, my lizards! Where did I leave them last?" the department added. Well, if you have, you may be in luck because we have recovered these remarkably creepy yet shockingly majestic creatures. Anybody lose their lizards?
No.
All right. Well, it's another public service announcement. Kind of
that
like
was getting the word out.
Yeah. Just getting the word out about any lost lizards.
Yeah.
Please report to the wherever that was in Massachusetts.
It's nice that they posted about it because, like, you easily just could have been like, "Oh, these are probably from like a serial killer's basement."
Right.
They always have weird
they're
animals.
Lizards. They probably are. Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry for any lizard owners out there that were just.
That's okay.
Yeah.
They'll come get you later.
Oh, I understand. A lot of people are after this episode.
Yeah. What happened to Kyle? He made fun of lizard owners. That's all it takes right there. You're done, man.
That'll get you snowballed in this business, as they say.
What's that?
That'll get you snowballed in this business. Your career's over, you know?
Oh, okay. I thought you said you got to snowball them. I was like, that's a different thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's totally different.
Yeah, you don't want to do that.
You asked, you're like, "Oh, I thought you said something funny," and I was like, "No, I did not."
No, I knew that. I knew that. Okay, I think we have time for one more. Let's make it a good one. Unfortunately, these are all I have. we would have made them a good one because you know I'm going back. So these are ones I skipped earlier because they were too crappy.
Oh, okay.
Boy.
So now we're going back to them. So we're just getting better as we go. That's how we work here.
We'll try to get one joke in this podcast, you know? Damn it.
Why?
Oh, sorry.
Why start now, Kyle? You're going to mess up my whole momentum.
Right.
Australia's Department of Home Affairs created fake negative horoscopes with the hopes it would deter Sri Lankan asylum seekers from trying to enter Australia, according to a report. The horoscopes obtained and published by BuzzFeed News on Tuesday include predictions for those who may try to immigrate to the country. State they're a message by Australian government. If you attempt to illegally travel to Australia by boat, expect people smugglers to take advantage of you, the horoscope reads for Aries. These criminals will take your money and you will be returned to Sri Lanka with nothing. That's an elaborate ruse to put it in their horoscopes like that. Because if you're an Aries, you don't want to go to Australia right now as an immigrant. From Sri Lanka.
Yeah, and then it's for Capricorns, it says, meet new people. I don't know, some fun.
Yep, you will be eaten by new people.
Yeah.
That's a cannibalistic society here.
Oh, boy, that is dark.
That is a little
It's a dark one to end on.
That is. Well, we'll have to... we'll just have to stop.
The government's shutting us down.
We're just... Yeah, this is the end of it. I'm not... I'm just... We'll blame this one on Brighton, too. Why not?
Okay. Yeah.
And Kyle. It was Brighton and Kyle that
man.
screwed this whole episode up, man. Well, anyway, do you have any social media? Do you have any friends?
I have social media.
Okay, cool. Well, throw it out there. In
sure.
fact, throw the whole thing out.
I'm
along
on
with all your material. Just throw it all.
Yeah, okay. So I was at a grocery store the other. No, I'm kidding.
I don't mean throw it out here. I mean just get rid of it. Start over.
Throw the garbage. No, I'm on Instagram. I'm at Kemper_Kyle and Twitter at Kemper Kyle, and I have 2 shows coming up that are some big ones. I'll be at Crackers Comedy Club January 7th in Indianapolis. I'll be at Caravan Comedy Club January 27th in Kentucky. So
It's down in Louisville, Caravan.
it is, yeah.
Okay,
so
cool.
quite the drive. If you really loved me from this podcast, you're like, I'm so big of a fan that I will drive 2.5 hours to go see this kid. Then
There may be some people from Kentucky listening to this podcast.
okay, yeah, cool.
Which I don't even think Louisville. I think Louisville doesn't claim it's part of Kentucky.
Yeah.
Honestly. it's just location. It's like we were put here accidentally. That is wrong. See, now anybody that was going to come from Louisville to listen to you, I just ruined it for you.
But that Indianapolis show,
Yeah, but Indianapolis, that'll be fun.
yeah, that's a state I love. Love that and the Funny Bone. Goodness
other than
me,
that whole Mike Pence thing. Other than that, Indiana's okay.
that little hiccup in their history.
Yeah, that's all. That's Brandon. Anything you want to add? Any social media? Do you have any shows coming up? Any splats that we can look out for?
I don't have any. I do have a show February 8th at Christopher's Club on North Dixie, which is going to be with the. I think I'm saying all those things right. I'm not positive on that date, but it's going to be with the 1984 Draft and 2 other bands I've never heard of.
Awesome.
It's going to be great. Don't have a drummer yet for that show, but we'll figure it out. I'm on all the social medias at the Paint Splats, and I got a website, thepaintsplats.com. So listen to my stuff.
Yeah,
and stuff. I'm on
I'll
Spotify
make
too.
sure. I'll make sure I tag everything.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. Just everything that comes in my view, I'm going to tag it.
You
I'm
do
going
your
to tag
thing,
that.
man.
Sometimes you just got to run around tagging things. That's all there is to it.
Yeah.
All right. Well, hey, thanks for being in. Thanks, Brandon, for guest co-hosting again.
Thanks for having me.
Kyle, for coming back in. I know it's been a couple years.
Thanks
since you've
for
been
having
in,
me.
and
Yeah, those
I kind of forgot about you.
Yeah, that made me feel good. Don't go listen to that episode from a few years ago because
Oh,
I
yeah,
was
that was
on
terrible.
and it was.
It's awkward.
You don't even remember it, but you're like, it was probably terrible.
Well, that's why I don't remember it. I block out the bad ones. I've had so many guests on that I don't even remember their names.
Oh. Yeah, I'm Kevin, by the way.
Kevin Kindler.
Yeah,
right?
sure. I don't.
Okay,
For
okay.
the right price, he'll be whatever you want. Yeah.
I've heard. Well, thanks for coming in. It's been an episode, and we're going to go.
Thanks for having me. It's been a lot of fun.
All right. Tune in next week. We'll have other people on. Might be better. Might be worse. I don't know. We never know what's happening on here. I still don't. I've been doing this for 5 years.
Yeah.
And I still. What's happening? Okay.
This is the peak show. It's all downhill from here.
Yeah, pretty much. Thanks for listening. Now I'm all depressed. I'm just kidding. This is a great show. I love it. Hey, tune in to the next one. Bye. Thanks for listening to the Life Radio Show podcast. Check it out wherever you listen to podcasts. Remember, if you want to listen live, we are on Tuesdays from 7 to 9 p.m. on WWSU 106.9 FM. You can also stream the show live at WWSU1069.org, and we go Facebook Live at the Life Radio Show's Facebook page. If you have suggestions or comments, feel free to email thelife1069@gmail.com.
Presence overwhelms me. The brutal presence overwhelms me.
Still waiting for puberty.
Yep.